Okay, we're almost ready to start, but I wanted to say this once again for the people that have just recently come in. This is not a session on a new way to report student data to COD. This is a session that is going to highlight some of the enhancements we made to some of the reports in COD that we have retired, and how you go to get those reports, okay? We're not going to talk about individual reports and how they can help you reconcile or find this or find that. We are going to talk only about some of the changes made to format, and as I said, those that have been retired. So if you're looking for a session on, I want to know what report's going to be the best for reconciliation, it ain't here. If you're looking for a report or a session that explains which ones are the best for certain purposes, go downstairs to the resource center and talk to the COD folks down there. They're going to be able to help you with that. We're looking at the technical reference for reports, volume 6, section 8. Is that right? Has a whole bunch of information on the individual reports. That's not the intent of this session, and I apologize if the name is a little misleading, okay? But it looks like at least some of you are going to hang around here, so we'll talk about these things that I just said. I just don't want to mislead you. I'm from the government, and I would never lie to you about anything. Everybody have a good trip coming here? Good. The Christmas decorations downstairs. See all the Christmas decorations? Did you see the wreath that's made out of $100 bills downstairs? You know what they call a wreath made out of $100 bills? Aretha Franklin's. Laugh it up. Still early in the morning. We're going to have a little mirth as we go through the day. Okay, we're close enough. We're going to talk about how we have changed some aspects of you getting reports out of the COD system and what some of those reports look like from the perspective of format. As I said before, we're not going to go into each one, what triggers it, what is in it, how it can help you, or anything like that at all. You can do that. Most of you have been doing that for the last 15 years or so. But we did change the way that you get to some of the reports, and we did change the way that we format the reports, and we did retire some of the reports. And we did it based on input from all you guys over the last several years and a focus group that we held last year at this conference with schools, okay? And there are some reports that are going to be gone that maybe some of you used. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to use them any longer. Some of them that were retired, we've put together in a brand new single report. The big thing is, in my opinion anyway, the way that we format these reports on the COD web and where you go to get them. Now, most of you, how many of you use reports on a regular basis? Quite a few of you. Okay. You already know then how we've changed some of the reports and where to go to get them. There was what's called the school's news box, right? That's where you would go and your list of direct loan reports or teach reports or Pell reports were displayed for you. And from there, you would pick the ones that you wanted to look at. Well, we've changed that a little bit. You no longer have a school news box. We now have a COD web reporting portal. And we're going to take a look at that at the end, show you a couple of examples of how to pull stuff up. Thank you. And along the way, talk about those reports that are retired and some of the enhancements we made to those that remain. My name's Wood Mason. I am with the Department of Education's Federal Student Aid Office. I work on the federal loan school support team, and mainly I deal with schools from a direct loan perspective. According to my instructions here, which I have faithfully followed all my life, I've been a Fed for 38 years, Department of Education for 22, and been around a while, and God willing, I'd be around for a while longer too. Anyway, that's who I am. My phone number, 404-974-9259. That rings right to my desk. So if the person answering that phone is not me, somebody has broken into my office and has stolen my identity for some nefarious purpose, I am sure. But if you call that number, you're going to be calling me, okay? Okay, let's get started on this journey. This all took place, or began, if you will, last October, as you can see up here, where we changed a few things when it comes to the reports that are in COD. We didn't change, as it says down here, how you retrieve a report from the COD website. You're still going to go to this new portal, get the report, and you can pull it down from there, just like you can now. We didn't change your access to those reports. The access you've had prior to this change is going to remain the same, so you can get to the same reports, pull down the same reports, and see the same information that you have been all along. It's just that we've changed some of the way that you get to them and the way that some of them look. You'll see down there, there's an electronic announcement from July 25th that explains all of this. It's a really, really good in-depth electronic announcement, and one that you probably all should, if you haven't already, take a look at and see what we changed and modified when we did this. In general, what we did is modify some format options, a few layouts as it says, and when I'm talking about the availability of some reports, that means that we have retired some of the reports. Again, that comes from what you guys have given us as input and the various focus group, not only from last year, but from times in the past as well when we've had sessions on reports. And basically what we've done is make all of the reports, those on the COD website, all comma delimited with headers, which means you can download those reports right into an Excel type spreadsheet, right? Resort it, reset it up, make it look and work the way that works and looks the best to you, okay? And we've gotten rid of, that's a little harsh, we no longer offer reports in a pipe delimited, pre-formatted text, a little bit of a caveat on that one, and comma delimited without formats. Those are no longer available. We still have one that comes in a PDF formats. That's the COD School Monitoring Report, the one that you guys see where you have been somewhat lax in your reporting deadlines, some pop situations, and those that have some unsubstantiated cache. That's in the same PDF format that it has been, okay? So from what we're looking at up here, your first thought is, well, great, these things look good, but you also said that you deleted some reports, and we're going to talk about those as we go along as well. We've made some changes to some of the drop-down boxes on COD, and we'll have a couple screenshots later in the session that shows you where the report options are now limited to, comma delimited with headers, and the pre-formatted in a couple of cases, okay? So we've made those changes as well. The ones that are no longer available that I just said a few moments ago, pipe delimited, comma delimited without headers. Those options have all been removed from those screens. And you'll see that also when we go to that point. Monthly reports are now being generated the evening of the first business day of the month. That probably doesn't mean anything to you because you probably don't care when we generate the reports as long as we generate them and get them out to you. But that's one of the little changes that we made along the way when we made these enhancements. The weekly reports, as have been in the past, are still done, as it says, every Friday evening, covering that previous Saturday through that Friday. Those remain the same. One caveat up there, these changes do not apply to the William D. Ford Direct Loan, Pell Grant, or Teach Grant school account statements. They are still generated monthly in the same way that they have been in the past. The Teach and Pell SASs in comma delimited with headers and pre-formatted, as is the other. The direct loan is done in pre-formatted, as I recall. Trying to keep that straight here. The advantage, of course, of the comma delimited with headers is you can bring that into an Excel-type spreadsheet as well, okay? So we've made a few adjustments there as well that we'll talk about. Some of the reports that you are used to seeing, many of them up there on the report request, haven't been changed at all because they were in these formats before that were available to you when you went to get those reports. Same thing with direct loans and Teach Grants. Some of the reports that you have been familiar with over the years, we didn't do anything with those reports as well. They're still viable, still the same formats that were available in the past, still carry basically the same type of information. So a lot of the stuff that we did didn't impact everything, but it did impact some of the other stuff. We retired several reports, and a few reports we updated with a little more information, and some of them a little bit more required data in order to trigger that particular report. And we'll take a look at those here as we go through that as well. These are the ones on the direct loan side of the ledger that were retired. The direct loan booking warning report. It's always difficult for me to say that. I know who came up with that report, and I never let her forget what I think about that name, but that's a whole nother story, not for today. MPN report, we got 3 of those that we retired and actually made a new MPN status report out of those 3, and we'll cover that one here a little bit later as we go through. Inactive loans report and the SSN name, date of birth change report. Those are all retired from direct loans. Pell Grant and Teach program reports below were retired with this release as well. That same Pell Grant Social Security number, name, date of birth change report, inactive grants, and that same SSN name, date of birth change for Teach also are gone. They are no longer there. You can't get them. Not that many of you got them in the past anyway, but they're not there at all. And there's that announcement again I want you to be mindful of. I've put it in there a couple, 3 times so that you see, take a look at that, and that'll explain a lot of what we're talking about here. COD web reports generated in CSV formats have been updated to include the format changes that you see here. Social Security numbers that start with a leading 0 that in the past you had to monkey with, right, to get that to fill out properly are now going to be taken care of for you by us adding, as you can see down here, an equal sign and quotation marks. And you'll see the result up there. So now you don't have to mess with how you get that data in there and get that leading 0 in there for all those 58 numbers that are on that report that you pulled. That's going to be a nice thing to have, right? The next thing down there as well, school IDs starting with a leading 0 have been reformatted in the same manner. So if you happen to have more than one OPE-ID number or school ID number that you're dealing with, for some of you that's the case, all of them that start with 0s are going to be treated in the same way so you don't have to mess around trying to get them set up properly in your reports with the leading zeros. Again, a caveat there at the bottom. None of that is going to apply to the school account statements, the SAS, or any other report that you pull down in a fixed length format, okay? Otherwise, those two changes are going to apply, and they're going to make it easier for you to look at some of this data on some of the reports without having to mess around with it after you pull it down. We also changed the format and dates and reports to this new format up here, the calendar year, the month, and then the date at the end. And again, there's that caveat up there. School monitoring report is going to be left out of this change here. That's a whole different non-program specific report. That's why that's not involved in this as well. And we're going to capitalize all the names of the students to make it consistent through the reports as well. Speaking of names of students, when we get to the school account statement, a lot of you want to have the names associated with those as well through that thing. We've done a little work on that, and I'll show you a couple screens here that'll help you in that way as well. So let's take a look at some of the reports on the direct loan side of the ledger that have been impacted by here. These new reports up here are posted to the reporting portal in comma delimited with headers format. Okay? The other options we talked about earlier, pipe delimited, comma delimited without headers, they're not available anymore. But these reports up here are still there, and they are going to be available through the portal in comma delimited with headers format to make it that much easier to draw them down and put them in an Excel type spreadsheet to work the way that works best for you at your school. Okay? The direct loan reports below are modified to include additional fields and have a new layout, if you will, but it's not anything that you're going to need to be overly concerned with as far as looking vastly different or having to hunt for information in different places or anything like that at all. This is simply going to be some enhancements that we made to these reports that we've got up here. The duplicate student borrow report now covers 4 years only. And there's a couple of qualifiers up there for students with 2 or more overlapping awards. And you can see the criteria there below. 2 or more direct loan awards at 2 or more schools with academic year start and end dates that overlap by 2 or more days, okay? And if one of those, as it says up there, is not in those most recent 4 years, that student's not going to show up on the report. So we've changed a little bit of the qualifier for this particular report for those of you that use it. And we've made it encompassing a shorter period of time, only 4 years, and how we've qualified some of the people that will be on there as well. It won't include any inactive loans, as you can see up there, if it's been inactivated, which means it's been brought down to 0. 0 disbursements, 0 pending disbursements, 0 loan amount. That's not going to show up on this report. So that's a little bit of a change here as well to this report. The actual disbursement list has been modified to include the additional fields below. And if you look at some of those, you'll see that they are familiar. Program zip code, enrollment code's been around a while, payment period start date has been around since SULA came up, and we've summed up all of those disbursements you can see there on that last bullet. Sequence number 1, net disbursements, which kicks off that disbursement. That's what triggers it to become the actual disbursement. Sequence numbers past number 1, which means any adjustments to that disbursement that was made, right? And remember, when we make adjustments, we're not changing the date of disbursement to that adjustment date. We're just changing the disbursement amount itself, still on that original and actual date of disbursement. and the net reported disbursements for that current reporting period, payment period. Okay? Let's keep going. Counseling report has added a field to display your school OPE ID. That's not a real big change, but it's a nice change. It's something that we added there for you, for your convenience, to make sure that you're looking at what you need to be looking at. The pending disbursement list is now available on the web reporting portal, as well as being generated and sent to your SAIG mailbox. Okay? There's the name that you'll find it on the reporting portal. There's the format that you'll find it in. And there's the message class that it's going to be sent to your SAIG mailbox in. That's the message class in which the report will be sent to your SAIG mailbox to be more grammatically correct, because one of these things here says, be articulate. So I'm articulating that correctly. I was not an English major in school. Okay, let's keep going here. COD created a new master promissory note status report. Remember I said a little bit earlier on the reports that we retired, those were those 3 MPNs, expired, about to expire, and going to expire in 60 days. We brought them all together in one, as you can see down here, replaces those 3. And the characteristics of the report now that you see covers what happened to those reports if they became discharged, inactive, or closed, or expired within the past 30 days due to. And we've got the reasons up here, of course, that go along with what those other reports showed as well. Death or unauthorized signatures or identity theft, linking a direct plus loan to an endorser, that makes that MPN a single loan MPN, and it goes inactive when we link that to an endorsed direct loan. No award linking, no actual disbursement on a linked loan in the first year. Remember that the master promissory note submitted to COD is good for 1 year or 10 years as long as there is an actual disbursement on the loan linked to that MPN within the first 12 months of receipt at COD. If no award links to it, no disbursements are made on it in that first 12 months, that MPN also goes inactive automatically. Okay? That's another reason up there. 10 years passing since receipt at COD. MPNs are good for 10 years. Depending upon how your school uses it, you may be using MPNs or linking your loans to MPNs that are that old. But once they get to 10 years, they expire. And thereafter, a new loan would require a new master promissory note to be linked to it. So that's another reason why you'll see loans on this here. And then closed by the borrower. Borrowers always have the right to close an MPN if they wish. Okay? Also, it's sent to your school SAIG mailbox, and there is the message class up there as well. And they are both formatted in a comma delimited with headers format. You'll see that repeated, comma delimited format with headers format. That's where we've gone to, and that's what they're going to be there. Teach grant. Let's take a look at a couple of the teach grant reports. The pending disbursement list was modified with a little bit of a new layout. Basically splitting up, as it says down there, the city, state, and zip code field that previously had been 1 is now 3. We separated them into individual fields on the report. The multiple reporting record, requested as a data request or system generated, right? Can be generated by us due to dual registrations. Data requested MRRs delivered to your SAIG mailbox in a fixed length format. This is one of the few that remain in that format, and is posted to the reporting portal. Get used to hearing that, the COD reporting portal, in a comma delimited format. Okay, so that's a little bit different on that one as well. Pending disbursement list report is delivered to your SAIG mailbox and available on the reporting portal. There's the identifier of it there that you can look for on the COD reporting portal. Comma delimited header with headers is the format, and there again is the message class for when it is sent to your SAIG mailbox. Discharge report, pending disbursement list is now delivered to your SAIG mailbox and available on the reporting portal. A little bit more up there. If it's going to your SAIG mailbox, this is another of the few that are still in fixed length file format. And the one on the reporting portal is going to be in comma delimited with headers. Again, making it more easy for you to bring down into an Excel type spreadsheet. Let's go take a look at some Pell Grant reports. Then we're going to go look at some screens as well. Pell Grant program reports below are modified and required a new report layout. I've got a couple things up here on that. The pending disbursement list, like the report we just talked about, the teach report, we've split the city, state, and zip into 3 different fields, each one individual on the report layout, and split the single student name field into 3, last name, first name, and middle initial. So they're not big changes to this report, but just little changes to make it a little bit more uniform, if you will, with some of the others that we have in the COD reporting portal. The MRR, another report that can be either system generated or you can request through a data request. You can see the differences up here. The mailbox, SAIG mailbox is fixed length, comma delimited with headers. If you go to pull it down from the web reporting portal, and a little bit different nomenclature depending upon the way that the report was generated and sent. Lifetime eligibility, SAIG mailbox, and available and viewable on the COD reporting website in comma delimited with headers format. Comma delimited with headers recurring quite a bit. Pending disbursement list is available and viewable via the COD reporting portal and also system generated and delivered to your SAIG mailbox. And we've got a little information. Let's see if this works. We do. A little information up here on what they're going to look like, name, nomenclature again, and as well the message class here to look for when it's sent to your SAIG mailbox. Verification status report is system generated and is posted to the COD reporting portal. The monthly report, as you can see up there, is delivered to your SAIG and viewable on the reporting portal. Both formatted as comma delimited with headers, and the message class to look for in your SAIG mailboxes up there for that particular report as well. A little different in the nomenclature here. Actually, this scenario or this condition, if you will, is not one that's, not many of you are going to fall into that particular means of requesting by campus or all campuses, but if you find yourself in that way, there is a means of doing that as well. Requested Pell verification status report requested on the COD reporting website, again in the comma delimited with headers format. Another take on the verification report, and again, the nomenclature you see there is a little bit different than it is in the other. The POP report, weekly report, that's generated and sent to your SAIG mailbox and is posted to the COD reporting web portal. Comma delimited with headers format is the way that we're going with that. Message class is up there for the 2 different types of reports. And again, comma delimited being the format that you'll be getting in both. A little bit more on the POP report here, and again, that same condition. Some of you, that other campus, if you have another campus, the reason why not many of you fall in that bucket, if you will, is because that second campus is going to have a Pell ID as well, and that's not the condition of a few. Timeout. Thank you. Okay, we've looked at that slide long enough, right? Let's keep going through. System-generated Pell Pop report, again, a little bit more on the nomenclature there, and that it's both to your SAIG mailbox and posted. We do have a non-specific report. Actually, we have a couple of them. We have a financial history report that you can pull from the COD website under one of the financial screens under your school, as well as the weekly COD school monitoring report. How many of you are familiar with the weekly COD school monitoring report? Most of you are. Some of you have yet to receive it or look at it maybe, but it is there. It is generated every week, delivered to your SAIG mailbox, and also available, viewable if you will, in the COD reporting portal. And it is the non-program specific report generally the schools become familiar with quite rapidly. It's generated, as it says, when you have unsubstantiated cash or a POP condition or 30-day disbursement reporting, right? You report the disbursement to COD more than 30 days after the actual disbursement date. That triggers being on this report as well, keeping in mind that little sub-bullet up there that the reporting window for COD is 15 days, right? When you make a disbursement, you have 15 days to get that disbursement data into COD, or if you make an adjustment to a disbursement, you have but 15 days to get that data into COD. So even though we're looking for things to trigger at 30, 15 days is the law, and that's what you need to abide by, okay? Delivered to your SAIG mailbox in pre-formatted text format. There's the message class, and it's also posted to the new COD reporting portal in PDF format, which makes it very, very easy to pull down, print, and read, and share. Okay, everybody with me so far? Any questions so far? Anybody bored out of their shorts so far? Let's talk about the school account statements. There's 3 of them now, right? We got one for direct loans that we've had forever. And now, since this past year, we have one for the Teach Grant program and the Pell Grant program. Now, one thing about the Teach Grant and Pell is we didn't mess with them. I shouldn't use that term either. We didn't modify them or enhance them. They've always come down in comma delimited with header formats to make them easy to bring down into an Excel type spreadsheet from the word get-go, right? As has the Pell disbursement detail on demand report that you can pull that shows your disbursements. That also comes to you in a comma delimited format, which makes it easy to drop into an Excel spreadsheet. And they've always included students by name. I would suspect that one of these days we'll probably modify this direct loan school account statement to be the same. I'm looking at the people that do that. She is smiling but not moving her head at all. There's an option. Okay. Okay. Here's the screen where it is pulled from, and you can see it's a monthly report, right? No option for formats because it comes in comma delimited with headers format. We'll take a look at the teach as well. There it is, the same thing. And as I said, it's in that format so you can bring it in, put it in an Excel type spreadsheet. You've got student names on there. They were designed and created in that manner from the word get-go, okay? And they will remain as such without us monkeying with them whatsoever. The direct loan school account statement, though, has been around a while. It's in a little bit different bucket, if you will, as far as how reports put together and sent out. And you can see here that we can get them in the comma delimited with headers or fixed length formats. Pipe delimited and comma delimited without headers are no longer available. Remember, beginning of this session, I said Those are two of the formats that we have done away with completely. But you have the options there, comma delimited with headers or fixed length formats as well. If you're a school that's using the compare feature, you have to have fixed length. I'm getting a nod of the head over here, so I'm cool with that answer. Okay, let's keep going here. One last thing. Borrower name included depends on the report activity type. Over the years, there have been schools that get the reports with student names in certain ways. Some schools pull them without student names in certain ways. But it seems to me that my communications with the schools, I'd say, geez, I wish I knew how I could get that report with the student names. Well, fortunately, we're going to tell you here in just a minute. The option to include names of borrowers remains dependent on the type of the school account statement that you request through COD. The option to include names of borrowers drop-down box has been moved to the bottom of the SAS option screen, and I'll show you that here in just a second. And we added text to the box to clarify when you can get a list of the student names associated with the data and when you can't, okay? I think it's, well, here's the SAS options for the direct loan school account statement. You see it's a little bit different than the ones for the Teach and the Pell Grant, right? You've got options for the format and different activities up there as well. But here is where, at the bottom of that screen we just looked at, you'll see if I can pull it up more. There it is. Include names of borrowers. Include names of borrowers option is available for disbursement detail in loan level sections for comma delimited with headers, format, and only loan level, or year to date, if you will, on the fixed length format of the report, right? But you still got several combinations you can make there, right? So I put here a couple of screens for you, and if you drop down this PowerPoint, which will be updated and posted after the conference is over, you'll get both of these screens that I'm going to show you here, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do and what you're going to get with certain types of activity types of the report when you pull the school account statement. There's another one up there as well. So if you want names, this tells you how to get them, okay? Okay, everybody got their pictures taken and written down and stuff like that? Okay, let's keep going. Updated COD screens. The report selection you can see down here is one of the options, if I can get this thing to work. Under the School tab on COD, comma delimited with headers, it's going to be the options there you can see, and of course it's still separate for the school account statement to get to the options for that as it has been all along. New reports under batch for report requests. You'll see the comma delimited with headers and fixed length to the appropriate report. The ones that come in the various two formats, you'll have the option. If it doesn't, you won't have the option to select either or. Okay, everybody with me so far? Any questions so far? No questions. Okay, let's keep going. If you do have questions, by the way, get to one of the microphones if you can. This is being recorded, I believe. So be kind of careful what you say. You didn't hear that from me. Of course, who else did you hear it from, right, if they're recording it? Okay, used to be, when we brought this up in October, let's go back here. This is what you saw when you went to services to go to your school news box. You had a COD reports option. It really was up in the middle there, and that took you to your reports in the school news box. That's changed after the first month, and this is what you see now when you go to services still to get to the reports that you want to see, okay? Up until this month, that other link was available to where you could go and get previous versions of the reports that were generated and posted prior to this October 13th change. That lasted a month. That link went away a couple of weeks ago. So now, if you need some of those previous reports, and they're going to be available until about March, I think, call your COD CSR, and he or she will pull it for you. You can still get to it, but you can't get to them through the COD website now. When you go to services to go to your reports, you're going to get this, and then you're going to get this. This is the new COD reporting portal. It's early. Coffee. Okay. This is what you're going to see. This is the new face of you gaining access to the reports. Remember I said earlier that the means of getting to them, you'll see here, is going to be pretty much the same, just a little bit of a different face here. And your access to those reports that you've had in the past is not changing at all either. It's going to be the same. If you had access to reports on here under the school news box in years past, you're going to have the same access to get to those reports through the reporting portal. This is what's going to come up first. This is not part of it. I just wanted to show you this here to show you the different reports that are available through the reporting portal. Once you go onto the reporting portal, as the screen here shows you, you're going to see this, where you will have school reports or a neat user guide down there to kind of help you along with this new way of looking at stuff like that. And over on the right, you're going to see an option for school report search or experimental sites initiative. If you happen to be one of the schools that are part of the experimental schools initiative, you'll be able to select that and go into it and see information about your particular experiment that you're dealing with, okay? Generally, you're going to do the school reports, school report search, and you're going to get to the reports from there. One thing I like about this also, you've got 1, 2, 3 different panels up there. If you hit that little thing there, that'll bring it all together in one big, beautiful picture. Makes it a lot easier to move around with and get things with. In this case, we're going to select the school report search option, and that's going to take us to a search screen that's going to allow you to really drill down and filter down into the reports that you want. You have to put your OPE ID in there. That's a required entry. You can see, though, that some of the others are options. Award year search, program type search, report name search. And that gives you an idea of how you can search for some of these reports in this new reporting portal. We've done one here on a date range, over here on the right. And when we applied that filter, this is what we came up with. All these reports over here. Click here for the record. It'll open that particular report up, and you'll have the option there to do with it what you want to do. Look at it, download it, whatever it is that you prefer with that particular report. We've got another one up here, a particular report, a SULA report from the 2015-16 award year that was generated between March 10th and April 21st. And when we hit the filter on that one, apply the filter, that pulled that report for us. And at that point, we'll just click the here for report, take a look at it, get the information off of it we need, download it, do what we want to do with it. So it's a pretty neat step-by-step process. And honestly, after having looked at the school news box with, reports all over the screens up there for the last 15 years, this is kind of nice, right? Get a nice clean portal to look through. You got a nice clean way of moving from pane to pane to make your selection, even a way to make it look even prettier with just that one panel, and then go to your search and put the filters in there that you want to to pull those reports. So it's a pretty good way of moving through to get to the report that you want. You've still got the filters up there that you might want to pull those various reports instead of going back like on the news box where you'd hit actions and pull up 6 different previous reports to pick from. You can winnow it down much earlier here to look for the information and the data that you're looking for. Okay, any questions on what the new portal looks like? Everybody like it? Good. I designed it. Don't laugh at me. Maybe one of these days I'll design something that you'll pick. Okay, let's keep moving through here. There's the third time I've told you about that electronic announcement, right? July 25th, 2017, it's got all the information on it that you need that'll tell you more about what we just talked about. The technical reference, summary of reports and available formats, there we have them up there for you as well. That's where you need to go if you want to find the best report for a particular purpose in your financial aid office. That's going to tell you. Quick shortcut, go downstairs to the resource room, get with the CSR down there and tell him or her, this is what I want to report for, how do I get it? Which one of these should I use? Is it possible to every now and then get an ad hoc report with this information in it? And they might be able to help you in that regard as well. But they're the folks that know it, they're the folks that can help you, and they're the folks that can point out the best things for you. And with that, that is the end of this new COD reporting, which really isn't what the name is, but what the new reports are like on there. If you have questions, you want to go to the microphone and let everybody in the world hear it. Or if not, I'm going to be here for a while, a few minutes anyway, and if you have a question on it, come on down. I'd love to talk to you. And thank you for coming.